Hi everyone, it's Anthony back with another video, and this time we're going to be talking about all of my empties from April. So there is quite a bit here to get through. These are products that I either completely emptied, totally done with, or they're products that I just want to be done with. So I won't be using them any longer. I'll either give them to friends or family, once quarantine is over and stay-at-home orders are no longer in effect, and I can start kind of giving away a lot of the skincare that I kind of tested, or I even have some full-size stuff that I bought, and then once it came around time to use it, I was like, I'm not quite sure about this for my skin. So, but we're just going through what I have that I did try and either completely empty, or I tried it and it's not fully empty for the month of April. So let's jump right in with the products that I did like, the full-size products that I did like. So we'll start on a positive note. Going right in, we'll just kind of start in order of how I use them. This is the Roche-Posay Effaclar Medicated Gel Cleanser. This is their gel cleanser that includes 2% salicylic acid, and it also has LHA in it as well, which is, once again, it's another exfoliating, more gentler version than just a straight up BHA. So this was a really nice cleanser. I actually use this as a body wash. I wasn't quite ready to use it as a face wash. So just on the body, I do have like hyperpigmentation and stuff from like ingrown hairs like on my legs and all over the place. So this was recommended by Dr. Dre as potentially a good cleanser for the body as well as the face. So I really liked it. I didn't see a huge improvement on the things that I was trying to address, but it really worked well in the sense that it worked well with like a loofah or a bath sponge to kind of foam up. I was using it's the benzoyl peroxide. I forget which brand it is, but it's another like drugstore acne brand. And it was their benzoyl peroxide wash, and it didn't really foam or lather, and it kind of was hard to use as a body wash. Dr. Dre recommends you use this almost like a mask, so you put it on like areas that you're hoping to focus on and then rinse it off after a couple minutes in the shower. I did that a few times. It worked okay. I felt a little weird just leaving the water running for that long while I had like a cleanser mask on my body. So I ended up just kind of using it as a normal body wash just to like cleanse my skin. So it was fine, not great, not terrible. I did use it a couple times just as an experiment. I was in the shower and I was like, oh crap, I forgot my cleanser. So I would just use this, and my skin seemed to respond really, really well to it the few times I did that. So who knows, I might end up getting a second bottle of this and adding it to my actual routine for my face. So this one, I had positive results. It didn't do anything bad. It wasn't amazing, but I would consider coming back to it for sure as a body wash for now. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the exfoliating product that I have, which really isn't an exfoliating product. It is the Tend Skin solution. This is the ingrown hair, razor bump, shaving and waxing kind of irritation solution. So this is one that I picked up because I do have a lot of hyperpigmentation, and I used to get a lot of razor bumps. I still do. I get ingrown hairs pretty much from like here down to my neck. And this really, really helped to alleviate the bumps and the ingrown hairs and just like the texture irregularities I was experiencing. I've been dealing with that for years and years and years. And this is the first product that really kind of knocked all that down, and it did it really fast. I think I did a 4-day review. So I used this for 4 days, and it just kind of eliminated a lot of those like super like raised bumps and stuff that I had on my neck and on my jawline. I still get them occasionally, and it didn't really do much to help with the actual hyperpigmentation or lightening of the dark spots. I think that will require traditional exfoliation either with AHAs, maybe retinols, those types of things. So stay tuned as I try to figure out how to best address this. But as far as the bumps and the texture, this has really, really helped keep that down. As along with like the redness and inflammation that I would get, this kind of helped to keep that at bay. It's essentially denatured alcohol and BHA and salicylic acid together in a formula. So it's just a really, really bare bones product, and it's quite potent, you know, the scent of it because it's the alcohol, but it really does work. And I didn't notice any adverse effects from this product, such as dryness or flaking, which is a potential concern for denatured alcohol. I really didn't see any of that. So this is one that I already have a backup of. I got the larger size now, so this will stay in my routine. I use it after, every time I shave, I use this afterwards. It does hurt, but it does help alleviate a lot of the stuff that comes post-shaving. So there's that. And then there is a toner and essence combo that I want to talk about. This is the Then I Met You Birch Milk Refining Toner and the Gibing Essence. So both of these I had a really good experience with. The toner features birch juice. It also has lactic acid in it. And I'm sorry, glycolic acid. I think it has lactic acid as well. Squalane. I think there's a little bit of jojoba in here. Maybe not. Oh, shea butter, squalane and shea butter. And so this is a milky kind of watery toner, but it has like a milkiness to it. It looks like a really thin milk. And it has a light refining, mild exfoliation ability, as well as some really nice hydration too. I was really impressed with this product because it provides that watery hydration that's super layerable. It's super thin, so you can do, you know, 1 layer, 2 layer, you can do a full 7 skin method, but it also has the acids in it as well, but they're super gentle, so you don't feel stripped or over exfoliated or irritated from this product. It just helped to really mildly resurface my skin, maybe help just a little bit with hyperpigmentation. But the fact that they were able to get the squalane and the shea butter into something so incredibly light and watery was really impressive. So if you're the type of person that wants some exfoliation from your toner, but you also maybe have some drier skin and you need to lock in hydration as well with things like shea butter and squalane, this is a really good option because it's not too overpowering. So even those with oily skin that might see something like shea butter or some of those heavier emollients and freak out, because this is just so light, it does a really nice job. So I like this. Personally, the size, I layer my toner so much that, you know, I guess I would consider repurchasing this. It's absolutely a recommendation, but for me, I am starting to look for like those big toners, and I found a couple that do have some acids. They don't look like they might be as well formulated with the shea butter and those types of things as well, but they look like they will have a similar exfoliating and refining effect, but a little bit more bang for your buck. I'll show you. Let's see. This one. This one. This one. This one. All right, we're just gonna go through the 4 that I have. I'm not gonna talk about them in depth. I'm just gonna breeze through them. So the Then I Met You toner is 100 milliliters, and I think this is like $32 or $34. Some things that I'm going to be comparing it to later on in the year are the Crave Beauty Hallelujah AHA toner. This is 200 milliliters, so twice the size. This is the by Wishtrend Mandelic Acid 5% Skin Prep Water. This has that mandelic acid, which is a milder AHA, 120 milliliters. Then we've also got the Aromatica Orange Soft Peel Toner. This comes in at 375 milliliters. I believe this has 2 or 3% AHA, and I think they use lactic acid as their AHA for this one. And I think I paid $9 for this. It was on sale. So, I mean, this is almost 4 times the size of this. So we'll see. Hopefully it does well. And then the last one that I have is the Klairs Daily Skin Softening Water. This comes in at a whopping 500 milliliters, 5 times the size of the Then I Met You product. I think I paid $23 or $24 for this, and it uses just a teensy bit of of apple fruit water and sugarcane extract, which I believe are natural AHAs. I'll have to look into that, but this has just a very tiny amount of acid content, naturally derived. So those are the 4 that I'm putting up against the Then I Met You products, Then I Met You toner. So, but still, I love it. I think, once again, people that are scared of like shea butters and heavier products and want something lighter and something that can layer and absorbs really nicely, this is just very well done. Okay, and then we have the Gibing Essence. I raved about this on Instagram, my blog review, on Reddit. I just love this essence. It's amazing. Oh, I got a teensy bit left. I'm gonna have to use that tomorrow. This features, I'll have to pull it. I'll have to pull it from memory or just look at it. It has sodium hyaluronate, turmeric root, licorice root. It has fermented filtrate extracts. It's got black chokeberry, and then it has ellagic acid, polyglumatic acid, which is an ingredient that is said to be much more effective in holding and retaining moisture and hydration as compared to hyaluronic acid. So I found that this just a tiny little bit of this product, just a few drops, makes you feel like you've done a few layers of it. It just draws so much moisture as compared to maybe some other toners, or not other essences, I'm sorry. It just took what I loved about a hydrating toner and combined it with what I love about a first treatment essence. My skin was just so incredibly hydrated and drenched. And then I just put a lotion or something to lock it in over the top, and I was good to go all day long. Like, I didn't really look at facial mists. I wasn't concerned about maybe reapplying a hydrating toner before I did my second layer of sunscreen during the day. I usually do these things throughout the day just to keep my skin kind of dewy and plump and moist. But this, I really didn't need to do that because it just drew so much hydration from the environment around me, especially when I used it at night and had my humidifier going. My skin was just like, whoa, so much hydration. So it's just amazing. It's a really special product. I think out of all of the Then I Met You products, although I do love the cleansing balm, this is kind of the standout for me. It's just so unique and so different and just incredibly impressive, and I haven't used another product that felt quite like this one. So highly recommend this, and I need to set it aside so I can use that last little bit. And then we have a serum. This is the Crave Beauty Great Barrier Relief Serum. This serum is used to help support the lipid barrier or moisture barrier on your skin, help to combat any irritation, redness that you might be experiencing from, overexfoliation or too much time in the sun or just kind of a weakened skin barrier for whatever reason. So you can see I used a good portion of it. I was pretty liberal with my usage of this, both day and night. It has tamanu oil, safflower oil, rose hip. It's got, I believe, a little bit of niacinamide in it as well, ceramides, all sorts of really nice hydrators and ingredients to really help support a nice, healthy moisture barrier to the skin. So the only negative thing, this totally worked to help soothe my skin. It added a lot of hydration, and I had just started using this after kind of over exfoliating and putting a lot of irritating products on my skin from a brand called Mad Hippie. So I was coming off of testing that brand, having a, really bad not really bad, but my skin was just compromised in general from using too much of products that weren't for me. And so this really helped to come in and just make my skin feel and look a lot more healthier. And over time, I feel like my skin has just become a bit more resilient. So I'm super impressed with it. The reason I've got that little bit left is because I kind of want to save it just in case something happens down the road where my skin becomes compromised again and I need to jump back into this product. Or if, once quarantine's over, I can start hanging out with friends and stuff again. I might give this last little bit away to friends that struggle with irritated skin, struggle with sensitivity to products. I think this might be a good one for them to try. There is another serum that looks very similar from the brand called Make Prem. It's their, I forget the name, but it's their Tamanu oil serum. It looks very similar in color and consistency. So I'm super curious to see how they compare. So I might end up grabbing that and doing a head-to-head with the Great Barrier Relief. So might hold on to this for a comparison too. So there's that. And then we've got the Eco Your Skin. This is the Faline 15 Eye Essence. This is so annoying. Of course, it's not going to focus. But anyway, this is from the brand Eco Your Skin, another K-beauty brand. I have been using this eye essence since September of last year. It is a massive bottle for an eye cream or eye serum. I believe this is 75 milliliters. I think it is. It's not listed on the box and it's not on the bottle, but I believe it's 75 milliliters. And if you know, eye creams usually come in pretty small containers. 15 milliliters is usually about average. If you're lucky, you'll find one for 30, but this is more than double even that larger size. And so just using a little, you need just the tiniest pump of this, and it spreads so evenly. It's got quite a bit of silicone in it, which, you know, some people love, some people hate. I used to be a hate person and now I'm a all right person. So it gives you that wonderful like slide, so you don't need a ton, you just kind of pat it in. And so this has just lasted and lasted and lasted me. And so I set it aside just because I wanted to try, I have one other eye cream in my stash that I want to try. And then from there, hey everyone, sorry, my timer went off to put sunscreen on before I take the dog for a walk. So I was just talking about the Eco Your Skin. This is the Faline Eye Essence. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, it's just lasted me forever. I have one other eye product I wanted to try in my stash. And then from there, I think I'll either just stick with this one as my forever eye cream or just kind of give eye creams and eye serums or eye essences a rest, because even though this one is very hydrating for the eye area, and I think it is mildly brightening, I'm not noticing any sort of night and day difference pretty much with any eye cream that I've really used. So I don't know if it's because I don't have a lot of the issues that people that go for eye creams tend to want to tackle, or if I just haven't found the one for me. But I feel like I've spent quite a bit on eye creams and not a single one has really blown me away necessarily. But this is as close as it's gotten, and just the value for the size. This is quite pricey. It's $70, but 75 milliliters. This is gonna last you. I mean, I could probably use this for over a year straight. So it's still pretty full, or decently full, maybe just a little less than halfway. And I'm just setting it aside to try one other product. So there's that. And then last on the positives is the Claire's Soft Airy UV Essence. Let me see if I can like tap to focus now. That's not gonna work. Yeah, so this is the Claire's Soft Airy UV Essence. Let me see if maybe that'll work. No, I think it also the reflection. Anyway, so this is a sunscreen that so many people have raved about. I picked it up with one of my first purchases from Wish Trend, and I have just loved this sunscreen. It doesn't have any white cast, there's no added fragrance, there's just a tiny bit of essential oil, which might be a deal breaker for some, but it comes very low on the list. It's just a little bit of orange oil, and it doesn't come through in the scent either, but it leaves my skin with this kind of watery, dewy, hydrated look. And once again, it just absorbs really nicely and absorbs with zero white cast. Depending on the day, sometimes I put extra lotion on. And so by the time I get to this step, or maybe I put an extra toner on, by the time I get to my sunscreen, it does take a little bit longer to absorb because my skin is just so saturated with all the other products. So it does take a bit, but once your skin just kind of lets it soak in, you're not left with any sort of film or greasiness or white cast. It's just this like soft, dewy feel like you've just applied a couple layers of an essence or toner. So I really, really like this. It also comes in an 80 milliliter size, which is quite a bit bigger than the typical 50 that you see from other products. And you can find it for a variety of prices. On Wishtrend, its full price is $23, but they most likely have some kind of sale. A lot of times they'll have just a 10% or even up to 30% off. And this is SPF 50 plus, PA 4 pluses. So highly, highly recommend. I'd say as of the time of this review, it was my favorite sunscreen that I think I've ever tried from a K-beauty brand or in general. However, I'm currently using a sunscreen right now that might be just a little bit more my style. I don't think it's great for everyone. This is much more of anyone will fall in love with this. The one I'm currently using might be a little bit more geared towards what I look for in a finish and a feel. So no spoilers, just be on the lookout for that review here in the next week or so. Okay, so now that we've covered all that, let's talk about the 4 products that I have that I did not like particularly. We'll once again go ahead in the order of how I used them. So first up is the Matcha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser from Crave Beauty. I just don't think, at the end of the day, I don't think that these jelly, like thick, really thick jelly style cleansers are just, for me, I don't know if it's an ingredient that they use to get it to that consistency, but I've used this one and I've also used the Then I Met You Soothing Tea Gel Cleanser, I think is what it's called. And I had pretty much the exact same things to say about them. They felt really interesting. They felt just fine the first, I'd say, week or 2 weeks that I used them. And then eventually my skin started to feel a little bit dry and tight after using the product. So I've gotten a lot of suggestions on use less of it. Try only washing your skin once a day. Maybe if you try doing this and then adding this, it'll equate to this. And I get that. I mean, in skincare, you always kind of have to adjust a little bit to get something to work for you. But when it comes to cleansers, and I've used so many cleansers that I can use twice a day, I can use, one pump's amount or a pea size amount, or, what seems like a reasonable amount and not have any issues. So when I get a product that does give me issues, I'm less about changing me to fit the product and more about just changing the product to something that works for me. I don't know. I don't know if that's the philosophy that everyone follows, but it's happened with a product that's very, very similar to this. So I think it's the product. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just find it to be a little bit too drying. The scent was kind of for me too, but that's not a deal breaker. It just wasn't an ideal cleanser and not something I really was looking forward to. Like, I didn't reach for this in my routine and be like, yay. It was just like, oh, here we go. So it's just not for me. I think, it's a cult product. People love this and I applaud them because it is a good value for the type of cleanser that it is. I think that there's a lot of work and thought that went into this, and still there's some value to it as well. It's not quite as expensive. I think the Then I Met You one is twice the price. I think this is $16 and that one's like $32. So if you can get along with this, I say go for it. It just wasn't for me. I would personally rather use the Youth to the People Superfood Cleanser as my alternative to this because I like that tech consistency better, just a straight up gel cleanser. It's a similar value. You get, I think that one's $34 or $36, but it's 8 ounces and this is 4, so it's twice the size. And it has green tea. It has a lot of the same antioxidant benefits, and I found it to be much more hydrating. So that's that on that one. This was a pass. Then we have the Trotiodicae this is this Mlse Skin Complex Formula set. So it comes with the Mlse ampule. So this is like their little ampule that's focused on brightening and lightening hyperpigmentation. And then you get their Skin Complex Formula, which is basically their version of just a basic toner. So when this comes in, it's just a clear toner, and then you dump the ampule inside, shake it up, it makes it into that yellow kind of fluid. There's a tiny bit left in there. Makes it into that yellow fluid, and then you spray it on like a toner. They make these ampules in 4 different colors. They focus on 4 different things. I went with the yellow, which is focused on lightening hyperpigmentation, evening skin tone. So I do trust where I bought this. However, so I got this on Amazon, but the seller is MK Universal, which is the company that manufactures, or the parent company of the brand Hyaluronic. But what's really weird is when I got this toner in, it came in this box, which is the H+ cocktail for anti-aging, which I believe is the red serum. So it came in the wrong box, first of all. Yeah, it even says right here, there's a little R. This was supposed to be the red one. So I'll forgive that because it is a reputable seller. I know it's coming from the people that make it, but it still kind of threw me off. It was sealed appropriately. It threw me off, and even besides that, if I set that fact aside that it was in the wrong box, this stuff is very expensive for a toner. I got it half off. They had a limited time half off sale, but this was still $24 for 60 milliliters of toner and 10 milliliters of the serum that gets dumped inside. So you're looking at 70 mils of product for $24, and that's half off. Normally, this set is $48 for less than 100 milliliters of toner. And the way that I use toner and the way that I layer it means that I burned through this thing so fast. And even when this is dumped in here, because they want to give you space for that, it only comes up to like right here. I got through this thing in like a couple weeks because it doesn't have those emollient ingredients that help to lock in moisture or anything like that. So in just my style of how I apply spray toners like this, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, pat, pat, pat. 1, 2, 3, 4, pat, pat, pat. And I do that like 4 times, 7 times per routine. So up to 14 times a day, I'm spraying this 4 times. So, and even then, it provided a decent amount of hydration, but I had to reach for that lotion or something emollient real quick. Otherwise, it would start to kind of evaporate back out of my skin. So, and I also didn't really see any major brightening from the ampule. So I'm about to get into a whole series of reviews for the Hyaluronic Accent line, which is focused on acne and sensitive skin. And spoilers for that, I'm really, really impressed with the products I've been trying so far. But for some reason, this toner just did not do it for me. And even if it did, even if I had fallen in love with it, paying up to $48 for the small one, the large size, I think is 200 milliliters or 150 is $100 for a toner, It's just not gonna happen. It's not within my budget, it's not reasonable, and it's not something that I could recommend. Even if I liked it, I couldn't point someone in the direction of a up to $100 watery toner. It's not responsible. So, so that's a pass for me. Okay, so moving on, another product that is in the toner realm that I just could not figure out or could not get along with is the Laneige Cream Skin. So I just shook it up, but I got about that far into it, probably a third, maybe just a bit more. I think I'm just confused by the consistency of it. It has a really nice light watery feel in the hand, but when you look at it, you can see the little drops of what I believe is the meadow foam seed oil, which provides that kind of lotion piece to it. And once it's on my skin, it didn't ever really leave a nice result. I always felt a little greasy, a little shiny, like I had some sort of residue on my skin. And then when I would go to reach for my moisturizer, I was still trying to use a moisturizer. When I reached for my sunscreen, that's when they really wouldn't sink in. Like I really had to give them some time to massage in, especially my sunscreen. It just added a lot of extra time to my routine because I feel like it had already kind of sealed everything up and nothing else was coming in or going out very easily. So the way that I got around that is by really layering up my essence. I ended up using my essence before this. This kind of moved one step later in my routine. So I would do my Essence, which was either the Then I Met You one, or there was another one that I was testing. So I'd layer that up and get my skin kind of almost wet. And then I could put that on, and I think it broke it up enough that it absorbed a little bit more evenly, a little bit more completely. So that's how I got around it. But once again, making that compromise just to get this product to work on my face. And even then, I didn't notice a huge boost in hydration. I don't think this could truly replace my moisturizer. I need a little bit more than that. But I think if you do have really oily skin and you can find a way to get this on your skin without it leaving that residue or sheen, it could be a good alternative to a light moisturizer. Also, those with dry skin that just drink everything up, you might have an easier time with avoiding that residue or that greasiness. So I know that people love this product, and I felt like such an odd man out by not loving it too, but when I think of my toners and my essences, I think of like that light, watery hydration that I can just pack on layer after layer. And I felt like just a few drops of this and my skin was already like, okay, enough of that. So I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I would much rather go for the Then I Met You Birch Milk Toner because it's got the shea butter, it's got some emollient ingredients, but it's just formulated in a way that is so much more easy to absorb, so much easier to layer, rather than something that almost kind of left me with a greasy sheen after I was done with it. So no thank you to that one. And then the last one that's a no thank you is the Oh So Simple water cream from Crave Beauty. I actually... I read so many reviews and watched so many videos of people saying that it just wasn't sufficient enough as a proper moisturizer. And at the end of the day, when I was done reviewing it, I do have to agree that it's just lacking in true emollients and ingredients that will actually lock in hydration. So as a standalone moisturizer, it's not the best, especially if you have dry skin. You're gonna find this pretty lacking. The thing that it did end up working out in my favor, I think, is almost like a watery or a cream-based serum. So if you've ever used the Blythe pressed serums, they have one called Crystal Ice Plant that's like a jelly kind of hydrator. Or if you've used something like the Benton Aloe Soothing Gel, they're those light, watery kind of hydrators, but they're not intended on being your only moisturizer. That's where I kind of found this to fall into place. So I actually think this paired with the Great Barrier Relief is pretty good because this has the oils that are needed. So these together make a really nice hydrating product. But at the end of the day, I had to say no, it's a pass for me, not something I would recommend, because I don't think you should have to have another product just to get one to work. Once again, it's all about that compromise. If I'm gonna buy a moisturizer, it needs to be a moisturizer in and of its own. So this was a no for me. You could also use it as a base for a moisturizer. So if you've got like jojoba oil sitting around, or some shea butter sitting around, or something or a facial oil that you already use, and you just want to put it into a different format and kind of make your own customized moisturizer, this is a good base for that. But once again, on its own, not so much. So this was a pass. All right, so that's it for the ones I liked, ones I didn't like for my full-size products. And now I've just got some sheet masks. A few of them were winners and a lot of them were not this month. I'm gonna breeze through this. That way we can just kind of, because there's not a ton to say about each individual sheet mask, but we're just gonna go through it. I'm gonna start with my positives, the ones that I liked. First off is the Fresh Capsule Mask Royal Jelly. This is from the Ouzo or the Ozo. I don't know how to pronounce that, but they have a whole series of these fresh capsule masks. I picked this up at Ulta, but basically what you do is there's this little thing, this little packet of ampule in here, or essence, and the mask also has an essence in it as well. It's separate, but you squeeze this as hard as you can and it just injects all of the goodness from this little thing into the rest of the mask. So this had royal jelly, propolis, honey extract. I found this to be very hydrating, very nourishing, and propolis and I don't always get along, but that formulation worked really well for my skin. Next one up, anytime I grab a Medicaid mask, it's almost always going to be a winner. This is their firming collagen mask. Collagen is one of those ingredients that I don't know if I really think it can have a lasting impact on topical skincare. I just have never found anything that I was like, oh wow, this really works. There was a serum one time last year that I used. It was from one of my Face Story subscription boxes. I think it was called Pure Gen. I think Pure Gen. I'll link it below. I'll link all of this below. But that one did seem to give me something, but I don't even know if it was the collagen. It might just have been a whole bunch of sodium hyaluronic. So that could be the same with this, because this also has, I think it has some sodium hyaluronic in it as well as the third ingredient. It's got aloe, but I love the mask material from Medicaid masks. They're always incredibly hydrating, and that's what I found this one to be, is super hydrating, left my skin very dewy, very kind of plump in that really well moisturized way. So collagen or not, I have never met a Medicaid mask that I didn't like, I don't think. So that one's a winner. Next up is the Leader's Primer Mask. This one was interesting because it's said to be used as a primer. So you put this on only 5 minutes before makeup application. It's supposed to act as a primer. I'm not a makeup wearer. This came in a subscription box, but it was incredibly hydrating. Like, this left my skin just like drenched in hydration. So as a primer, I expected to take it off and it would have almost like a silicone kind of matte feel to it, but it's not. It's very, very hydrating. So as a makeup primer, I don't know necessarily how well that would work unless you're going for that super dewy glow and you're just using like a BB cushion. But if you're going for other makeup looks that are a little bit maybe more like a soft finish or even a matte finish, I don't know if this would be the best one for you, but it works as a very nicely hydrating mask. And I ended up leaving it on for 10 minutes. It says that's kind of the max for this one. So I liked it. It left me very, very moisturized, hydrated, left me with a nice glow, which I guess is a good base for makeup. So A+ there. And then the last one is the Vivlas Premium Rose Mask. I used another version of this mask last month. It's, at the end of the day, it's just a really nicely hydrating mask that has a very unique mask material. This is a black mask with a pink foil overlay, but some of the black mask comes through, so it gives this really unique look. So it's just a fun mask to use, but it also really helped to hydrate and brighten my skin. So just like all the other ones that, my ideal mask is just something that leaves me with like kind of this kind of glow straight out of the gate without anything else that's needed, and really packs in the hydration. So almost acts as like a really hydrating toner. And so that's what I found in this one as well. I don't know if I would necessarily come back to any of these, just because I'm trying to avoid purchasing sheet masks as much as I can, because it's just a lot of waste between this and the mask, and a lot of times they have that backing. It's just a lot of material for something that you only use one time. I would much rather go for a serum because it's less packaging at the end of the day, and it's a consistent formula, so you can really track the results and benefits. So when someone says, I'm looking for a sheet mask that I can use every day, I'm like, perfect, that's called a serum. So that's kind of where I stand with sheet masks. They're fun, occasional type things that I use, but it's not something that I would lean on as a real game changer for my skincare routine. It's just something extra that I do when I can. So that's that. These are all the ones I don't like. Speaking of sheet masking, let's start off with the Your Piece. These are the Your Piece Lan Seal masks. They come in nourishing, glow, and soothing. I got these last summer during the Glow recipe sale when they did their clear out of all their curated brands and switched to their in-house brands only. So I got these for a pretty good deal, but I think originally they were about $5 a pop. Incredibly interesting mask material. This mask material is a cotton sheet mask, but it has the gel of like a biocellulose or like a rubber mask, kind of like somehow they like blended it together so it feels like a cotton mask and has fibers, but it's also jelly. So these masks were so good at retaining hydration and holding moisture and just staying damp. I used them each for 20 minutes, but I could have easily gone 30, maybe 40 per mask. So they really hold on to that hydration. However, they all pretty much impacted my skin the same way with just basic watery hydration. I didn't really see anything in the way of soothing. I didn't see anything in the way of brightening. Nourishing also, when I think of nourishing, I want some emollient ingredients in the mask, almost like kind of a cream to really lock in the hydration. This was just as watery as the other ones. And they just left my skin kind of dewy and plump, but it didn't even really last. Like a few minutes later, I was kind of like, oh no. So I don't think it's the mask material that's the problem. I just think the actual essence is a little bit lacking in this line. But for that kind of that wow factor and that uniqueness of the sheet mask, they might be worth trying if you'd like. They're a little bit harder to find now that Glow Recipe no longer carries them, but you can find them. They're the Your Peace Land Seal masks. All right, this is the Jus de Mir Mineral Mask. Just a basic hydrating mask that has, I think, like mineral water in it and some other kind of basic hydrators. It hydrated my skin, like I said with the other mask, for like a minute, and then poof, it was gone. I felt like it really didn't impact my skin one way or the other. And I think the mask material is just kind of your basic cotton style, so nothing really special here. This is the Lapkos Skin First Oil Wrap Mask. This mask actually felt kind of nice on the skin, and the mask material almost had this like plasticky feel to it, which made sense because this is really oil focused. So I think they just didn't want all those oils sitting in the cotton. They wanted them to kind of make as much contact with the skin. So it almost had this kind of like plastic wrap crossed with a sheet mask feel to it. It wasn't super comfortable, but I get it. I would have liked to recommend this mask because it did help to brighten my skin and give me that really nice like bright glow. But the majority of the oils in here are essential oils. Like this thing is packed with essential oils. I think I stopped counting at like 13 or 16 different fragrant essential oils in very high concentrations. I mean, you've got agave stem extract is like a niacinamide, or the first things after like butylene glycol water. And then like your sixth ingredient, lemon peel oil, lavender oil, bergamot oil, orange peel oil, regular orange oil. Like it just really hammers you with essential oils. So if you have any sort of sensitivity to essential oils or can't use them, this is like lava. Like this will melt your face off. So I can't recommend it, even if I had somewhat positive results there. Once again, irresponsible to recommend that. Okay, Cody Hydra Soother Cellulose Mask. Sounds all great, has some interesting ingredients in it. It's got camellia in it. It's got grapefruit seed extract, ginger root, some other nice things in there, but it was just a super basic hydrating mask that really didn't do anything special. And I didn't particularly find the aesthetic or mask material to be that interesting either. So it's just kind of meh. So no thank you. The same with the Miss Young. This is their Curie Silk Mask. The curry comes from the turmeric that's in here as well, which is actually really, really minimal. But it also has mango seed butter, papaya extract. It's got licorice root. So I was kind of curious because the ingredients list, although the turmeric is really minimal, looks pretty decent, but I didn't see any benefit as far as incredible hydrating. This says it's supposed to be softening. I think turmeric's also supposed to be brightening and soothing. I didn't see any of that from this mask, so this one was kind of a letdown. These are the number 7 sheet masks. I got these so long ago from Ulta, like when I think they were like one of the first masks that I got like in the fall of like 2018. So I've had them for over a year now. There was a third one to this set. I was curious about them because you can see the pictures. This mask comes all the way down to like right here, and then it kind of gets tied up, which I like that style of mask. It gives you that extra lift, and you get some essence down here. So I was curious about it, but these reek. They smell so bad. They're like so fragrant and so perfumey that I used these first two and I really pushed myself to get through it. But that's the second one. I forget which one it is, but one of these that I used, I opened it and I was like, oh no, no, no. I put it on my face for like 5 minutes. I was like, absolutely not. Like, it was just like pungent perfume. I was like, this is absolutely going to irritate my skin in some form or fashion. So I ended up tossing the third one away, and I only got through the two, and they were just not my style. Dr. Belmeur Cica mask kind of it isn't necessarily in the same vein, but this was another product. I'll have to read through it. I feel like this one was quite fragrant as well. It does have some essential oils. But I didn't see anything. It focuses on Cica, so it focuses on soothing, reducing redness, reducing inflammation. I didn't notice anything from that. In fact, I just generally don't have a super good experience with face shop products in general as far as the fragrance goes. So I think this one wasn't necessarily the scent. Maybe it was. I'd have to look at my notes, but I think it just wasn't very effective. These, however, the Mask Shop Mask Cream Sheet Masks, the scent was the problem. So the mask material didn't feel all that great either. And these all just had various perfumey kind of scents that were almost overpowering. And even though they have, a couple of them have a really creamy, lotiony essence, so when you take them off, it feels like a light lotion. It wasn't, at the end of the day, incredibly nourishing or hydrating. It was just like, oh, okay, I've got little splotches of lotion here and there, massage it in, and it was just kind of a scented lotion. I didn't see any brightening or super hydrating effects from it. So these were, all three of these were a pass for me. Okay, and then we've got the Round Lab. This is their mugwort sheet mask. I liked this one in the sense that it was decently hydrating, but I didn't see any soothing or redness relief, which is kind of the whole focus of mugwort. And so it just didn't live up to its claimed benefits. I think I'm really still interested in trying the toner because the toner looks a little bit more well formulated than the sheet mask. I was thinking that this was just the toner in sheet mask form, but it isn't quite. It's a little bit different. So this one was a pass for me. And then the last one, I'm so sorry to say this, but these are the JM Solution masks. I was so excited to use these. Everyone seems to love this line of sheet masks. And I get it. I get why, because this sheet mask actually did leave my skin very hydrated, to the point that it was just damp. Like, I could put a lotion on and just feel so good and just drenched in hydration. But this mask, and this is a complaint just from me, this mask is so tiny for my giant fat head. I mean, most masks are pretty small on my face anyway because I've got a big head. So most masks will come to like right here for the most part, but the JM Solution mask was like here on my face. It was just like this little thing. And to the point that I couldn't really make a lot of facial movements because there wasn't enough like gripping onto my skin. It actually just started to kind of like fall off like here down. It just all started to kind of fall off my face because it just wasn't grabbing onto enough. So I don't know if that means I need to lose weight. I don't know what it is, but it wasn't the formula, and the mask material was fine. It was just the size. The size was not for my size of head, unfortunately. So I gave these to my roommate who has a tiny little head, and she can put that mask on and have no problem. Most masks go all the way up to her hairline. So this isn't going to be an issue. So she got the rest. I think I had like a 9-pack. She got or a 10-pack. She got the other 9. And I'm bummed because I liked the essence and it felt like what did make contact with my skin felt good, but it just didn't make sense for me to try to force it and then recommend it. Like, it literally, like, the eye holes, like, it was a mess. So that's it. Those were a no for me. So yeah, let me know if you've used any of these products, liked them, loved them. I'll put a link for the ones that I guess I'll just put a link for everything depending on where you see this. So I might just do it by request, just depending on where I post this. Otherwise, certain social media outlets, I'll put them all there as much as I can for you. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on these products. If you have some favorites here, if you saw some stuff that I liked that you didn't, or vice versa. Otherwise, be on the lookout for a Get Unready With Me video coming very, very soon, and then that'll be followed by a Get Ready. So we'll do PM routine first, and then AM routine second, going into this month of May. So thank you all so much for watching, and if you have any comments, leave them below. Otherwise, thanks again, and stay glowing. Bye.